Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Michael Reads. Welcome on this very fine Monday evening, and hope you've all been well. Whether you're joining me live or catching this replay later, thank you for taking time to invest in yourself today. Every hour you spend learning has the potential to shape the years ahead, and I truly believe that books are among the greatest teachers we can ever have. So I sincerely hope the sound is coming through nice, loud, and clear. And I just decided to do a summary of the entire book, which I will be doing a summary of each portion of the book on a day-to-day basis. I've already set out to do a live stream every day at 7 o'clock UK time, where I have broken the book up into five different parts, of which today is part one, and we will be beginning with something a little different. So rather than reading directly from The Richest Man in Babylon, we are going to explore the entire book together through a series of daily live stream discussions. My aim is to give you a meaningful overview of each chapter, unpack the timeless principles within it, and reflect on how these lessons can still help us build stronger financial habits today. If you've already been following my complete chapter by chapter readings, thank you for being part of this journey. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope today's discussion inspires you to dive deeper not only into this remarkable book but into the wider world of personal development, financial education, and lifelong learning. So, before we begin, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you enjoy this discussion, please take a moment to like the live stream, subscribe to Michael Reads, and share this video with someone who is serious about improving their financial future. It really does help the channel grow, and together we can build a community centered on learning, reflection, and personal responsibility. I also encourage you to read The Richest Man in Babylon yourself. No summary, however detailed, can replace the experience of discovering these lessons by George S. Clason, or Clason, his own words. Think of today's discussion as an invitation to begin or continue that journey. So, with that said, let's travel back thousands of years to one of history's greatest cities. Why Babylon? When people hear the name Babylon, they often think of ancient ruins or stories from history. But Babylon has something much more than that. It was a city that became extraordinarily wealthy long before modern banks, stock markets, or digital currencies ever existed. Its merchants traded across continents. Its engineers built magnificent structures. Its citizens developed systems of commerce that influenced civilizations for generations. Georges Clason chose Babylon because wealth itself has never really changed. The technology changes, the currencies change, the economy changes, but human behavior really does. People still learn, people still spend, people still save, people still invest, people still make mistakes. That is why a book first published almost a century ago continues to change lives today. Its lessons aren't about becoming rich overnight, they're about becoming wise. And wisdom never goes out of date. So, with chapter one, The Man Who Desired Gold, the journey begins by introducing us to two lifelong friends, Bansir and Kobbi. Bansir is a skilled chariot builder, Kobbi is a talented musician. Neither man lacks ability. Neither man is lazy. Neither man is unintelligent. Yet, despite years of honest work, they remain poor. This opening chapter asks a question that millions of people still ask today. Why do some people build wealth while others, working just as hard, struggle their entire lives? Just that Clason doesn't begin with money, he begins with desire. Not envy, not jealousy, desire. Bansir reaches a point where he realizes something has to change. He has spent years building wealth for others while never truly building wealth for himself. That moment is one many of us experience at some stage in life. Perhaps it's after receiving another payslip that disappears within days. Perhaps it's after watching another year pass with little financial progress. Perhaps it's when we realize we've become experts at earning but not at keeping. This chapter reminds us that meaningful change begins with honest self reflection. Before our circumstances improve, our thinking must improve. Before our finances change, our habits must change. One of the most powerful ideas introduced here is that wishing alone achieves absolutely nothing. Everyone wants more money. Far fewer people are willing to learn how wealth is actually created. The friends, Bansir and Kobbi, eventually decide to seek out someone who has already solved the problem they face. Rather than continuing to guess, they choose to learn from someone with proven experience. That decision alone is incredibly valuable. Instead of taking advice from those who struggle financially, they seek wisdom from someone who has demonstrated lasting success. It's a reminder to that our teachers matter. If we want better results, we should study those who consistently produce them. One lesson that stands out to me at this point is many of us spend years trying to increase our income while giving very little attention to increasing our financial understanding. Those two things are not the same. A higher income without wisdom often leads to higher spending. Greater wealth usually begins with greater understanding. This is why books like this remain so valuable. In chapter 2, The Richest Man in Babylon, the second chapter introduces us to Arkad, the richest man in Babylon. Naturally, everyone wants to know his secret. Was he born wealthy? Did he inherit his fortune? Did he simply get lucky? The answer simply is no. Arkad explains that he began with almost nothing. What separated him from everyone else wasn't his starting point, it was his willingness to learn. One of the first principles he shares is beautifully simple. A part of everything you earn belongs to you. At first glance, that sounds obvious, but think about it. Most people pay everyone else before paying themselves. The landlord, utility companies, the supermarket, the government, subscriptions, loans, entertainment. By the end of the month, very little remains. Arkad challenges that pattern completely. Instead of saving whatever is left over, he teaches that saving should come first. That single habit changes everything because wealth isn't created by what you earn, it is created by what you consistently keep. Arkad also explains that simply saving money isn't enough. Idle gold accomplishes very little. Money should eventually be put to work through wise investments that generate even more income. This introduces another timeless principle. Your money should become your employee. Rather than constantly working for money, money itself should gradually begin working for you. Of course, Arkad also admits that he made mistakes. He trusted people who lacked expertise. He invested in opportunities he didn't fully understand. He learned expensive lessons. Fortunately, he also learned from those mistakes. That's encouraging because every investor, entrepreneur, and business owner experiences setbacks. The difference isn't avoiding every mistake, it's refusing to repeat them. One sentence from this chapter has influenced countless readers around the world. Pay yourself first. Simple, clear, easy to understand, yet surprisingly difficult to practice consistently. Imagine applying that principle for the next 10 or 20 years, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, every single month. Small actions repeated consistently often produce extraordinary outcomes. The idea lies at the very heart of the richest man in Babylon. That brings us to the end of the first part of our journey through the richest man in Babylon. Although we've discovered that wealth begins long before money enters the bank account. It begins with a decision to think differently, to learn continuously, and to take responsibility for our financial future. In our next discussion, we'll explore two of the most influential chapters of the entire book: the 7 cures for a lean purse, my personal favorite, and meet the goddess of good luck. These chapters contain practical principles that have guided readers for generations and continue to inspire people seeking financial independence today. Before you head off, I'd love to hear from you. What lessons stood out most from today's discussion? Have you ever experienced that moment, like Bansir, where you realized something had to change financially? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read as many as I can and I enjoy reading your perspectives. So if you've enjoyed today's live stream, give it a like, please. Subscribe to Michael Reads, and if you haven't already, and explore the complete Richest Man in Babylon playlist on this channel. There you'll find my full chapter by chapter readings, allowing you to experience this timeless book and George S. Clason's timeless words alongside these discussions. Finally, if you haven't yet picked up a copy of the book, I encourage you to do so. Reading it yourself offers insights and details that no summary can fully capture. And it's a book you'll likely return to throughout your life. So thank you for spending this time with me today. And until tomorrow, keep reading, keep learning, keep growing, and remember that the journey to lasting wealth begins not with what we earn, but with what we choose to become. So thank you for spending this time with me. Here are Michael Reads, and I will see you on the next live stream where we will go through the second part of the summary of the richest man in Babylon. Thank you. Take care.